evening and welcome to Sports Night in Auburn. I'm Taylor Strohmeyer.
And I'm Brendan McLaughlin. Tonight, we have details on Auburn's football's upcoming game, some basketball updates, and a recap of Auburn Soccer's postseason games. After 2 bye weeks, the Auburn Tigers are back in action this Saturday where they take on the Tennessee Volunteers in Jordan-Hare Stadium. The Tigers had their normally scheduled bye 2 weeks ago and then had an unexpected bye week last week when their matchup against Mississippi State was postponed due to positive COVID-19 tests and subsequent quarantining of Mississippi State players. But after 2 weeks off, the Tigers are ready to play. Tennessee and Auburn are meeting for the 54th time, with Auburn leading the matchup at 28-22-3. Auburn has won 6 out of the last 7 meetings, but Tennessee won the last meeting 30-24 in the 2018 season. That was Tennessee's first win at Auburn since the Vols' 1998 championship season. Gus Malzahn said this week is big for the Tigers, and they are finally getting back into their game week routine after having 2 weeks off. The Tigers had 9 positive players test positive in recent weeks, so Auburn will have some guys missing on Saturday, but Malzahn did not give any names. Malzahn said his guys are just ready to play again.
Yeah, I think this week is big as far as just that game week routine and knowing for sure you're playing and who you're playing and all that. But I think more than anything it's routine, flipping the switch and getting your mind and body ready to go. And I really have no doubt in my mind our guys will be ready. And we just need to have a good week of practice. Yeah, there'll be a few that will not be able to. We'll see, where that goes. I'm not going to get any specifics, but at this point, there'll be a few that won't be available for Saturday. Yeah, there's no doubt. There's nothing like depth, especially when you're playing conference games in this league, and we are getting a little healthier, and some of the young guys are starting to get more experience. I told them the other day that all of our young guys are no longer freshmen in my mind. They got 6 SEC games under their belt, and so we just need to continue to grow. No doubt. I mean, they're just ready to get back and play. Like I said, it was just really strange from the standpoint that we dealt with the COVID. We didn't practice for a couple of days, and we found out we weren't playing, and you have a new opponent, and that's a lot of stuff. And so our guys, like I said, the best thing about it, we're back in game week routine. We're playing a team that, I think is a talented team and a team that came in here and gave us a very, very tough loss 2 years ago for the older guys who were part of that. So, like I said, we're ready to get back on the field, especially playing at home. Like I said, playing at night, and then playing against a team that we're looking forward to playing.
Senior defensive back Jordan Peters spoke, saying these 2 off weeks was a big adversity challenge for the team and how a lot of young guys are stepping up. Peters said this is a special time in college football where more players are getting more opportunities to step up and make plays.
It hasn't been too hectic just from dealing with this summer. Just Coach Malzahn, he's been a great leader. Us as a team, we're great as we always pride ourselves with adjusting with adversity. So this is nothing but a big adversity challenge for us, and us as a team, I feel like we're taking it head on, like a good team should be, a great team should. A lot of guys like Chris Thompson, Tennyson, guys on the offensive ball are stepping up. Elijah, Kobe Hudson, Tank, of course. It's guys all across the board, young guys that are stepping up and having to prove that they can play early because we're in a time in college football where it's sort of kind of like the best time because up until now in college football, not everybody has really had the opportunity to play. Yeah, most definitely. Just because we've seen since I've been here, at least since 2017, we've seen how special teams has impacted the games before. Every year we found a way to make some type of game-changing type play on special teams, whether it be a block punt, block field goal, punt return, kickoff return, stop a kickoff inside the 20 or something like that. All those are game-changing plays that a lot of times are forgotten about in the stat lines.
The game will be the annual Military Appreciation Game as well as the Homecoming Game. The game can be found on ESPN. Most of the seats have been given to students, but remaining sections were offered to donors and season ticket holders of 25 years or more. Every spectator in the stadium will be required to wear a mask at all times and are encouraged to follow one-way traffic in the stairs and on the concourse area. Students have been assigned to a color section and are required to enter in the respective gate and will be required to show their green screen from GuideSafe.
The Maxwell Football Club announced the expansion of its 2020 watch list for the 84th Maxwell Award. The original lists were comprised of players selected based on their 2019 performances, but as the 2020 season has progressed and stars have emerged, the club believes several additional players warrant attention. Auburn freshman running back Tank Bigsby was named to the Maxwell Award list after a strong performance for the Tigers through their first 6 games. Through 6 games for the Tigers, Bigsby has 503 total rushing yards and 5 rushing touchdowns on 89 carries. His longest run was 30 yards against South Carolina. Bigsby also has 306 kick return yards on the season.
The Maxwell Award has been presented to the outstanding collegiate football player in America since 1937 and is named in honor of Robert W. Tiny Maxwell. Semifinalists for the Maxwell Award will be announced on Monday, November 30th, and 3 finalists for the award will be announced Tuesday, December 8th. The winner of the 2020 Maxwell will be announced as part of the ESPN Home Depot College Football Award Show, which will be announced in late December or early January at a date to be announced shortly. The watch list candidates have been chosen by the Maxwell Football Club's selection committee, and the Maxwell Club reserves the right to make additions and subtractions to these lists as the 2020 season progresses. All members of the Maxwell Football Club, NCAA sports information directors, head coaches, and selected national media are eligible to vote for these awards. After the Tigers matchup against the Volunteers this weekend, they are set to play 3 more games, including 2 December games. Next weekend, the Tigers will travel to Tuscaloosa, where they will try to win a 2nd straight Iron Bowl. That game will kick off at 2:30 from Bryant-Denny Stadium on Saturday, November 28th. After that, the Tigers will come back home to take on Texas A&M for a December 5th home game. Kickoff time for that game has yet to be announced. Auburn will wrap up their regular fall season on December 12th, where they take on Mississippi State in Starkville.
When we come back, we will take a look at Auburn basketball, soccer, and volleyball. Keep it right here. You're watching Sports Night in Auburn.
Basketball is right around the corner, and the team is gearing up to play. The Tigers are a very young team, as the roster has 0 seniors and only 3 juniors. Head coach Bruce Pearl said the team has so many new guys, but their strength is their depth. Pearl mentioned that the biggest challenge for his freshmen is learning how to defend, since a lot of new players are stronger on offense than defense. Pearl also announced that the team has not had a player test positive since July 4th.
Our first games, that's been a big focus for what our practices have looked like for the last several weeks. We've just got so many new guys and so much to learn. The competition is good, and I think our strength is our depth. But I can tell you, the guys have worked really hard, both on their own and in practice. They've been really engaged. They don't know what they don't know. And the only way they're going to get that is through game experience. I like to be disruptive rather than defensive. We want to make it hard for you to run the stuff that you like to run. I don't know if we have the quickness to do that at every position yet. I'll be curious to see what that looks like. I do think we got the length, and I do think we have the athleticism. So even though we might be able to double the ball and trap, we got to be a team that's very active with our hands and deflections, but more importantly, be off the ball in position to make plays with our defense. Obviously, because I've got so many new players, I think we're going to need our defense to score some points with this young offensive team. The biggest challenge for freshmen is learning how to defend. They're all better offensively than they are defensively. By virtue of they worked on their skills offensively, they worked on their offensive game, they're balling in, they're shooting, they're passing and things like that. Because college offenses, and take another level, pro offenses, are so much more complex and the personnel is so much better, that you've got to have defensive schemes in college and in the NBA. We've been blessed that we haven't had a player test positive since July 4th regarding to COVID. I don't know if that's a good thing or not a good thing because the vast majority of my program has not gotten it yet. With the exception of when the guys are on the floor, we're really cognizant of being distant from each other off the floor. Coaches are wearing masks in practice. But we are relatively healthy heading into next week.
Auburn will participate in the Fort Myers tip-off during Thanksgiving, where they will take on St. Joseph's on Thanksgiving Day, and then will play the next day on Friday, November 27th, where they will play the number 1 ranked Gonzaga. The Tigers then begin the regular season November 30th against UCF in Orlando.
Auburn basketball recruiting has been busy in recent weeks, as 2 highly anticipated players have signed with Auburn in recent days. Trey Alexander, a 6'4", 185-pound guard from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, signed a national letter of intent with the Auburn basketball program on Wednesday, and he is Auburn's second signee in the class of 2021. Alexander is a consensus 4-star shooting guard by 24/7 Sports, ESPN, and Rivals. He's rated as the 40th best player nationally in the 2021 class by ESPN, 61st by 24/7 Sports, and 72nd by Rivals. Alexander averaged 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 4.5 assists, along with 4 steals per game during his junior season at Heritage Hall School. Alexander, who also played on the AAU circuit, averaged 24 points per game with various travel teams over the summer.
Jabari Smith, a 6'10", 215-pound forward from Tyrone, Georgia, signed his national letter of intent with the Auburn basketball program on Tuesday. Smith is a 5-star forward by 24/7 Sports, ESPN, and Rivals. He is rated as the number 4 player in the country in the 2021 class by Rivals and number 5 by 24/7 Sports and ESPN. Smith is the highest-rated signee in program history and the number 1 player from the state of Georgia. Smith averaged 24.5 points, 10.8 rebounds, 2.8 blocks, and 1.6 assists during his junior year at Sandy Creek High School. Smith was named the most valuable player at the Pangos All-American Festival when he racked up 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 blocks in a game that featured many of the top prospects in the nation. Smith also represented his country as he paced USA basketball team to a gold medal in the FIBA Americas U16 Championship while averaging 13.8 points and 16.2 rebounds. On the AAU circuit, Smith played for the Atlanta Celtics and led them to a championship in the Adidas Gauntlet Series.
Auburn Soccer played in the SEC Soccer Tournament this weekend, taking on Georgia in Arkansas. In the match against Georgia, the game went to double overtime, and then freshman midfielder Mallory Mooney scored the golden goal in the opening seconds of double overtime as Auburn defeated Georgia 2-1 in the second round of the SEC Soccer Tournament on Sunday night. Mooney scored on a cross from Alyssa Melanson into the back of the net just 14 seconds into the second overtime period. The goal was the first of her career and sent Auburn to the SEC Tournament quarterfinals for the first time since 2016. Head coach Karen Hoppe said, "I'm really proud of the girls. I thought we did a good job growing into the game. I thought we were better in the second half than we were in the first half. We obviously created a lot of opportunities and finally got one right at the beginning of the second overtime." Auburn struck first as Sydney Richards found the back of the net off a cross from Melanson in the 9th minute to give the Tigers the 1-0 lead. But Georgia answered back in the 26th minute as Abby Boyan struck one from the top of the box that squeezed through the hands of freshman goalkeeper Maddie Prohaska. The teams then stayed tied through the rest of regulation and play in the first overtime. Auburn totaled 19 shots in the contest, marking the second highest output of the season. Anna Haddock led the way with a season-high 6 shots, while Melanson and Richards added 3 shots apiece. The win advanced the Tigers to the next round, where they took on top-seeded Arkansas.
Auburn battled back from a 4-goal deficit against number 6 Arkansas, but ultimately came up just short, dropping the SEC Tournament quarterfinal contest 4-3 Tuesday night in Orange Beach, Alabama. The Tigers outshot Arkansas 17-16 in the contest, including 13-6 in the second half. The team's 3 second-half goals were the most in a game this season and matched the Tigers' SEC Tournament record for goals and a half. SEC All-Freshman team honoree Anna Haddock had a hand in all 3 goals for the Tigers as she assisted on the first 2 and scored the third, marking her first career goal. Haddock's 4-point effort is the highest by an Auburn player this season and marks the most by a Tiger in the SEC Tournament since 2016. Arkansas struck early and often as the Razorbacks found the back of the net 4 times in the first 22 minutes. 3 of the Razorbacks' goals came off corner kicks, while another was rebounded off and saved penalty kick. The Tigers came out firing in the second half as Mooney scored her second goal in as many contests in Orange Beach to put Auburn on the board in the 49th minute. Haddock played the corner kick, which was headed by Craven to Mooney's feet, and the freshman midfielder chipped it over the Arkansas back line. Minutes later, the Tigers ramped up the pressure and cut the lead to 2 on Richards' team best 4th goal of the season, also marking her 2nd goal of the SEC tournament. Haddock cut the lead to 1 with 3 minutes to play as she struck a right-footed free kick from just outside the box, near post, past the Arkansas keeper. Looking for the equalizer, Haddock played a corner kick with 30 seconds remaining to the head of Craven, but the shot just missed the upper left 90. Auburn's fall season comes to an end with the result in Orange Beach, and the Tigers will now await details of its spring season.
Auburn Volleyball returns to Auburn Arena to finish out their fall slate against Tennessee. Wednesday's match is slated for a 7 p.m. Central Time start and will be broadcasted nationally on the SEC Network. Thursday's season finale is set for 5 p.m. Central Time and will be digitally streamed on the SEC Network Plus. Head coach Brent Crouch said, "Tennessee presents some new challenges for us. They like to serve the ball short, and they do some different things offensively where they move their middle hitters wider from their setter to overload an arena of the net. Facing new challenges against new teams is always fun, but it's been a good week of practice. We're excited to play." Auburn is looking to snap a 3-match losing streak versus the Lady Volunteers. Auburn currently ranks tied with Florida State for the 3rd toughest fall schedule in the country. Tennessee enters the final week of the 2020 fall season with a 2-4 record to stand 9th in the SEC rankings. The Lady Vols are coming off a series split against South Carolina. Tennessee won the Friday night opener 3-1 before falling in straight sets to the Gamecocks on Saturday.
Auburn announced Monday the safety and attendance protocols in place at Auburn Arena for the 2 volleyball matches. Capacity inside Auburn Arena will be reduced to the general public. Face coverings will be required for all spectators and game day workers. Fans will be asked to sit in their designated seating areas and follow social distancing and traffic flow designated by stadium signage. The team shop will operate out of their main Auburn Arena location next to the North Main entrance. Exterior doors will be locked and access will only be available through the concourse. Operating under SEC, state, and local health guidelines, concessions will only operate out of the half-court cafe, serving a limited selection of food items including bottled water, Coca-Cola products, and prepackaged food. All condiments will also be prepackaged. All transactions for concessions and merchandise locations at Auburn Arena will be contactless and cashless with credit or Tiger Card only.
With Auburn women's basketball about to start, Auburn senior Unique Thompson added another preseason accolade to her growing list, as she was named to the coach's preseason All-SEC First Team, the conference office announced Tuesday. Thompson, a 6'3" senior from Theodore, Alabama, was an honorable mention All-American and first-team All-SEC selection in 2020. She led the Tigers with 16.2 points and 11.4 rebounds per game last season, ranking 6th in the SEC in scoring and 2nd in rebounds. Her rebounding total also ranked 10th nationally, and her field goal percentage of 58.2% was 15th best nationally and 3rd in the SEC. She has averaged a double-double for 2 straight seasons, the first player in Auburn history to accomplish that feat. She registered 22 double-doubles in 29 games last season, one shy of claiming the National Statistical Championship in that category. For her career, she has 42 double-doubles, which puts her in first place in Auburn history and 15 away from entering the SEC all-time top 10. She also enters the 2020-21 season with 888 career rebounds, which ranks 8th in Auburn history, and 1,170 points, just outside the Auburn career top 30. Thompson and the Tigers open the 2020-21 season next Wednesday, November 25th, at home against USC Upstate at 6 p.m. Central Time. Information regarding tickets, fan guidelines, and broadcast will be announced in the coming days.
Auburn pitching coach Tim Hudson was named to the 2021 Baseball Writers Association of America Hall of Fame ballot announced Monday. Hudson, who was a 17-year MLB veteran with the Oakland Athletics, Atlanta Braves, and San Francisco Giants, is one of 11 first-timers on the 2021 ballot. BBWAA voters must submit their votes by the end of the year, and the results will be revealed on Tuesday, January 26th on MLB Network. Players must have their names checked on at least 75% of submitted ballots to enter the Hall of Fame, which will hold its 2021 induction ceremony on July 25th in Cooperstown, New York. Hudson, who will enter his 2nd season on the Auburn coaching staff in 2021, was named the team's volunteer assistant and pitching coach on January 15th, 2020. During his senior campaign at Auburn, Hudson posted a 15-2 record with a 2.97 ERA and 165 strikeouts, while also hitting .396 with 18 home runs and 95 RBIs. The right-hander led the NCAA in wins, while his strikeout total was the highest in the SEC. He went on to be named the 1997 Rotary Smith Award winner, first-team All-American, and the SEC Player of the Year. Hudson, who was inducted in the Braves Hall of Fame in 2018, ranked 9th in wins and 17th in innings pitched. His .611 win percentage is the third best mark in Braves history. The right-hander was one of only 21 pitchers in MLB history to win at least 200 games, post 2,000 strikeouts, and have a .600 or higher career winning percentage. Hudson went on to be inducted into the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame as the member of the 50th anniversary class in 2018.
The Auburn gymnastics program is excited to welcome a top-ranked signing class to 2022 as 4 signed with the Tigers. Joining the squad next season will be Sophia Groth, Sarah Hubbard, Sunisa Lee, and Caroline Leonard. The 2022 freshman class ranks number 7 according to College Gym News and includes a world champion in Lee as well as a Nastia Lucan Cup qualifier in Groth and state champion in Hubbard. This is Auburn's highest class ranking since 2011, and that group of freshmen went on to help the Tigers reach the Super 6 in 2015. Sophia Groth is a 3-time Joe Championship qualifier, finished 2nd on floor and 3rd on bars at the 2018 Joe National Meet, is a 2017 Nastia Lucan Cup qualifier, captured the all-around title at the 2016 Hopes Championship, and is Joe National Champion on beam. Sarah Hubbard scored a 10.0 on vault at the 2020 Fiesta Bowl, had multiple first-place finishes on vault and floor throughout her career, is a 2018 state champion on beam and runner-up on floor, is a 2018 vault and floor winner at Classic Rock, and a Region 1 beam champion and vault state champion in 2016.
Sunisa Lee is a 6-time U.S. national team member, won team gold at the 2019 World Championships in Stuttgart, Germany. She took home the silver medal on floor and the bronze on bars at the World Championships. She is a 2019 U.S. National Bars Champion, all-around silver medalist, and floor exercise bronze medalist, and is a 2018 U.S. Junior Champion on bars and runner-up on beam. Caroline Leonard, 2-time regional qualifier in 2016 and 2019, is a vault champion at 2020 Everest Classic, a 2019 bars and all-around runner-up at the Alabama State Meet, and a vault bars beam and all-around runner-up at the 2016 State Meet. The Auburn gymnastics team does not have a schedule at the moment and will be announced at a later date. Auburn Arena and the Auburn gymnastics team will host one of 4 NCAA women's gymnastics regionals in 2022. The 3-day meet will be held March 31st to April 2nd and will feature 10 teams. After a 2-team play in the first day, 2 sessions of 4 teams will highlight the following round of competition on day 2. The top 2 squads from each session will advance to the Sweet 16 on the final night. From there, the teams finishing 1st and 2nd will move on to NCAA championships.
When we come back, we will take a look at how Auburn players performed in Week 10 of the NFL. We have breaking Auburn sporting news as Isaac Okoro was the number 5 pick in the 2020 NBA draft. Okoro was selected by the Cleveland Cavaliers. He is the 3rd Auburn player to be selected in the first round of the NBA draft since 2009. Okoro averaged 12.9 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, 2 assists, and a field goal percentage of 51.4. Raider kicker Daniel Carlson has still yet to miss a kick at home this season. The 3rd-year kicker made all 3 of his field goals and was a perfect 4-4 on extra points to help lead the Raiders past the Denver Broncos 37-12. The long kick of the day came from 52 yards out, which makes Carlson 4-4 on field goals of 50 yards or more on the season. He also connected on field goals from 22 and 24 yards out in Sunday's victory. Cam Newton completed 13 of his 17 passes for 118 yards and threw a 7-yard touchdown pass to Rex Burkhead. He also rushed for 21 yards and added a 2nd score on the ground. Newton also didn't turn the ball over. It was the 41st game in Newton's NFL career with both a passing and rushing touchdown.
Darius Slayton had 5 catches for 93 yards, including a spectacular toe tap grab in the fourth quarter that went for 40 yards and led to a field goal in the Giants' 27-17 win over the Philadelphia Eagles. Slayton ran a double move, caught it over his shoulder, and then had the concentration to get both feet down before going out of bounds. He now has 38 receptions for 584 yards on the season, both of which led the team. Coming off of Week 9 performance that landed him on PFF's NFL Team of the Week, Brayden Smith had another impressive showing in Thursday night's 34-17 victory over the Tennessee Titans. The starting right tackle did not allow a sack and protected quarterback Phillip Rivers, who threw for 308 yards and a touchdown. The Colts also ran for 133 yards and 2 scores. Per PFF, Smith is ranked number 27 among all NFL offensive tackles with an overall grade of 75.6. He's yet to allow a sack this season. That's all for Sports Night in Auburn, but for more Auburn sports, head to our website, eagleeyeauburn.com, where we'll have everything you need to know to stay up to date on Auburn sports. I'm Taylor Strohmeyer.
And I'm Brennan McLaughlin. For even more sports, follow our Twitter at EETV_sports and follow our Instagram at EagleEyeTV. Good night and War Eagle.